Welcome into the Set It Off Network. We have a game reaction, Will, and boy, Bama is burning right now. Boy, if you are an Oklahoma fan, you have put a stamp on that behind over there in Tuscaloosa. Back to back years, the Oklahoma Sooners get Alabama last year 24-3 and get them again this year, but this time in T-Town, Will. They take down the number 4 team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide, in Tuscaloosa with a 23-21 win. And Will, this thing was ugly. All right, you guys are gonna look at this box score and you're gonna be like, how in the world did Oklahoma win this football game, Will? And it is 17 points off 3 Alabama turnovers, and that's do it. That's padlock stat. Write it down, send it in the mail, do whatever you got to do with it. That is why Oklahoma won this football game. Oklahoma did nothing impressive. All right, all they did was take whatever Alabama gave them and then they capitalized on it. Because when you play good teams, all right, and you make mistakes against good teams take advantage of that. But I really want to shout out the Oklahoma defense. The Oklahoma defense was awesome today. It's going to say they gave up a ton of yards, and they did, but this is the best defense that Alabama has faced to date, I think, even over Georgia. All right. I would say this Oklahoma defense and Brett Venables probably playing their best football right now. And it really put Alabama in a bind because Alabama's had an issue all season long, Will, of running the football. They become very one dimensional. All right. And it was always going to be like this. If somebody was going to get Alabama late in the year, it was going to be because of this. You cannot run the football. Ty Simpson has to throw the ball 42 times. When you have to throw the ball 42 times, you know what happens, Will? Sometimes you put the ball in harm's way. When you got that many opportunities, sometimes the defense is going to make plays. And today, that's what happened. A pick six, another interception. Ty Simpson drops back, fumbles, sets up the game-winning field goal for Oklahoma. But let's not talk about it from the Alabama side here. We got to give credit to the winners first, and Oklahoma for sure needed this football game to keep their playoff hopes alive. Sitting there at number 11 in the college football playoff rankings, now 8-2, 4-2 in the SEC, and it feels like certainly they have to win out. But two very winnable games left on their schedule. This was the big hump that they needed to get over, and they were able to do it to get that signature win for their playoff resume. So, what's some of your initial thoughts on this football game, Will, and kind of bigger picture thing here for both these teams?
Well, let's see here. So in the preview, I was saying Kalen DeBoer, black hoodie, ranked opponent. They're not going to get him. Well, we got to add Oklahoma to the list now of things that Kalen DeBoer struggles with. I guess
History in the
because
making.
0-2 now against Oklahoma. And is this 2 years in a row where Oklahoma starts the downward descent for Alabama's season? Because now Alabama's in a position where if they go and lose that Iron Bowl, SEC championship hopes, playoff hopes could all come crashing down right there. And I know Auburn's season's kind of in the dumps, but Jordan Hare is a tough place to play. We've seen Nick Saban struggle against some not great Auburn teams recently. I mean, going back a long time, actually, that Iron Bowl has always been a struggle for Alabama on the road. So that's going to be interesting in a couple weeks. Oklahoma, though, they needed to get this one. They got it, and now I feel like they're going to be in a position to control their own destiny to get into the college football playoff. They get Missouri, LSU, two teams that, were ranked and were looking good at one point, but they've had struggles as of late. Missouri with their quarterback getting injured, of course, and LSU is kind of, about LSU. So, I mean, two games that won't be easy, but certainly feel winnable. This was the big challenge. Oklahoma, man, the last two games going on the road, hostile environments in Tennessee and Alabama, two big wins, and it feels like this season it's trending in the right direction again, and they could get their way to the playoff. It feels like they have that path to control their own destiny.
Yeah, and a big thing is just Oklahoma finally found their recipe, right? They found a running game. All right, they've been able to run the ball a little bit better week in and week out, which is what you kind of got to do on the road. And that defense always travels. Brent Venables has that defense ready to play every single week. Last week they did it to Tennessee. They suffocated that team for 4 quarters, and today they did the same thing to Alabama. They just made everything very difficult for Alabama, and things hadn't been very difficult for Alabama this season. So when they ran into a little bit of adversity, you started to see Ty Simpson make some bad decisions, and that ended up being the difference in the game. So hats off to Brent Venables in that defense. And it is one of those things where we've kind of seen it. Alabama has kind of played with fire. All right, the last couple weeks, even in the LSU game, they didn't necessarily play extremely well. They missed out on tons of opportunities to kind of blow that game open. The game before that against South Carolina is, leading that game in the fourth quarter. So we haven't seen Alabama play their best football, and it was kind of one of those things. It's like, hey, you got to get the getter before you get got, and Alabama got today. It is kind of what this college football season has been. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and crap all over Alabama because we see teams do this all the time. Like they look invincible for weeks upon weeks, and then just the grind of the season start. All it takes is you to play just not to your best one day, and a team come in there and play great football. And this is kind of the result that happens. Alabama didn't play near close to their best game with 3 turnovers. And like I said, Oklahoma just really didn't do anything special. Will they just kind of let Alabama lose the football game? And they did nothing to help Alabama win the football game. So it was one of those things where, if they play this game 10 times, Alabama probably wins this game 7 times. But you know what? That's kind of how the ball fell today, and we play with a weirdly shaped ball, and it bounces weird ways. And today the ball bounced a lot towards Oklahoma. But bigger picture, you kind of mentioned it, Will. This is a scary spot, Will, and I am the biggest Alabama hater you'll ever meet. All right, so there is not an ounce of me that is not excited for the next couple weeks because Auburn has a chance to do the funniest thing in college football and make my year a year that has been just so difficult. We have money issues at LSU, we have culture issues at LSU, we have government issues at LSU, and all of that would mean nothing, Will. All of that would mean nothing for one Saturday if I just got the enjoyment knowing that Alabama has a chance to go to Auburn and Auburn has a chance to do the funniest thing and beat Alabama. Not only beat Alabama, give them their third loss, and probably take them out of playoff contention, and then just take them out of the SEC championship. So there is really no hope of them winning and making a playoff appearance because they don't get to play for the conference championship either. So a big piece of my heart I've always been a big Auburn guy, all right, because me and Auburn people share the same kind of hatred, all right, for our teams. And so I've always been a big Auburn guy. And I'm going to be the biggest Auburn fan over the next couple weeks because, that is a place where Alabama's dreams have died a lot. And even the GOAT, Will, you said it, even the GOAT, Nick Saban, all right, he is on record saying that place is haunted, and he doesn't want no part of that place when there is something on the line. All
I
right, because we
mean,
have.
think of the last few Iron Bowls at Jordan Hare. They had that fourth and goal from the 31 last time. The time before that went to 4 overtimes. 2019, Alabama lost. Same with 2017. We've seen the kick six there. I mean, it is not easy for Alabama to go in there and win. I'm just saying.
And we're not even going to bring up the fact that Auburn just happens to be unranked. Will.
Ooh.
All right, that just adds another dynamic to the terrifying. If you're an Alabama fan right now, you are shaking in your boots. Today you had to win. All right, we talked about it being a must win for Oklahoma. It was a must win for Alabama because you got an unranked, not an unranked game at home, Will. Not an
On the
unranked
road.
game on the road where we have seen time after time under Kalen DeBoer, Alabama has struggled. But that being said, Alabama's still a really good football team, Will, but you gotta talk about it. You gotta talk about the humongous elephant in the room. No pun intended there with Alabama, but it's there. Like it could happen, and we got to talk about like what happens to Kalen DeBoer if they lose that football game. Will, like, honest, in your opinion, like what happens?
Gosh, I don't know. The standards are so high at Alabama. Can you imagine somebody having back to back 3 loss seasons? I don't know if they'd make a move on him. I think he's an excellent coach. He's done some great things over there. This is a really solid season so far, but I don't know if the Crimson Tide fans would put up with it.
I mean, they might burn his house down.
Oh
Like,
no.
I mean, we've seen. I mean,
I don't condone that.
we've seen him poison trees. We've seen him do all kinds of crazy stuff. Will, all
That's not
right,
good.
that wouldn't be good. All right, we don't recommend that on this channel. All
Mm-mm.
right, if you do, don't tell us because I ain't associating with that. All right, so just keep it to yourself. All right, but it's like, man, it would get very sweaty in the Kalen DeBoer household. And you're right, they probably wouldn't get rid of him. All right, but he'd have to hear about it all off season long. Will, like, and you want to talk about pressure going into the next season? That's that's pressure. All right. There's a lot of jobs that come with a lot of pressure, Will. All right. But the pressure that's on Kalen DeBoer in 2 weeks, all right, is unlike any pressure that any head coach in college. Maybe the only person that was under more pressure is Ryan Day. And that was pre national championship Ryan Day. All right. Because you get the national championship and you get some breathing room there. But last year after the Ohio State Michigan game, that's the kind of pressure Kalen DeBoer would be facing. All right. And I'm just saying, sometimes pressure makes diamonds, but pressure always also bursts pipes, Will. And it feels like Kalen DeBoer in that pipe might be bursting. Just saying. Not a very complete football team. Very one dimensional on offense. That doesn't bode very well when you play really good defenses. And Auburn has a very good defense. And not to mention, Auburn scored like 40 points last week against Vanderbilt. All right.
Mm.
So maybe they found something offensively as well. Auburn, some say, all right, some are whispering in my ear right now that Auburn's playing their best football of the season.
Mm.
Could be a dangerous time over there in Alabama next weekend. But that's kind of all we got for this one. We appreciate you guys for watching though. Great content here. All right, so because it's great content, we need you to subscribe to the channel. All right, plain and simple. We're not asking. All right, we're demanding. All right, if you're watching this right now, we are demanding you to subscribe. All right, but in a nice way. All right, so go grab your parents, grab your kids, grab your cousins' phones, get on that thing. All right, make sure they're subscribed to the channel. All right, and the best way to help us grow is to leave your comments below. So drop your comment.
Oh, look at that rhyming.
You like that? All right, that's
Yeah.
that's that's straight off the Set It Off Network
Awesome.
brain up here. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to start using that one. So, yeah. So if you're still watching this, thank you first of all. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. All right, it literally costs you nothing, signs you up for nothing, and we're gonna continue to be making content all college football season, into the playoffs, into the off season, all of that good stuff. So we're gonna be here for a while. Might as well hop on the train when you can. All right. So thank you guys. We appreciate you for watching. We will see you guys next time.